Hey, this is Geoff Gannon, and you're listening to the Focus Compounding Podcast, the podcast where Andrew and I talk general investing concepts. To get even more content from me and Andrew, sign up for the Focus Compounding app. The Focus Compounding app costs $7.95 a month. It comes with a bunch of 2,000-word articles from me each week, a fresh batch of 5-minute videos from the both of us, along with one bonus extra-long episode of the podcast each Saturday, and immediate access to our complete backlog of 200-plus episodes. To sign up, go to focuscompounding.com/app or wherever apps are sold. And now here's Andrew with your regularly scheduled podcast.
And we're back. How's everybody doing? Hope you are doing well. My name is Andrew Kuhn, Focused Compounding, on air live on Zoom. And I always send the Zoom invite through Skype with Vetle Forsland all the way from Norway. Vetle, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. We could see from your background that you are back home. Long listeners of the rundown know that when you're in that room right there, you are back at your parents' house.
Exactly, because this all originated when I think we started doing this after Corona, if I'm not mistaken, or right before. No, it was after Corona, right?
After, yeah.
So we started out from my room. This is where, I didn't grow up here, but I grew up not far from here. This is my parents' house, and now I moved back to my dorm room though. But I'm visiting my parents. But the avid listener can see that I'm now home.
How long or how far is your parents' house from where you go to school?
So it's literally at the other side of the country. It's like New York to LA. It's like on the other. I go to school on the West Coast, and I grew up in the East Coast near Oslo. But it's like a 8-hour drive or something. So it's not too far for you Americans, but for us, it's literally on the other side of the country. So it's like 40 minutes by plane, 7 hours by car, but it's still far away.
Did you fly or did you drive?
I did fly.
Fly. Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of upset because last week I thought the rundown was actually really funny when we were talking about like Trevor Milton and stuff and about just like the company in general. And about a day before I actually uploaded that rundown, the Heidenberg short research report came out about NIKOLA. Mm-hmm. And I was like, gosh, this would have been perfect for us to talk about, but we're going to, talk about it today. I mean, what was your reaction? That was just kind of funny timing because we were talking about NIKOLA and then, Heidenberg comes out with their short report and then like all this drama around that company really starts to heat up. I mean, what were your initial reactions when that came out? Did you think, because Heidenberg, they tweeted the day before that they were going to release a short report the next day.
Oh, really?
Did you think that they were going to do it about NIKOLA? I always like to guess. You're like, what company could it be? I didn't know it'd be them. I didn't think it would, but.
Right. Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see that original tweet. If I would have seen that original tweet, I would have thought like, okay, so they got some stupid software company that they think is fraud. It's like, okay, who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think. But the good thing though was that we were relatively, we were kind of criticizing NIKOLA in the first episode. But the bad part of that was that we didn't put it out before that Heidenberg research report came out.
Yeah, it was because the GM investment with NIKOLA or the partnership. That's why we're talking about it. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So, but I read parts of the report and it's just so, first of all, great research. Research.
Yeah.
Like a very deep job.
Dude, short sellers are just so impressive to me. We don't short. I always talk about how I would never short, but I'm always fascinated by their analysis. As long as it's perfectly legit and everything. It's always so fascinating, the level of research that good short sellers do.
Did you hear about that guy who blew up a Target store but he shorted the Target stock beforehand?
Oh gosh, no. When was that?
I don't know, like 2 years ago. I remember the news story. Anyways,
well, it's like from that's like
the opposite of active investing.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bobby Axelrod in Billions with the juice company, right? He like poisoned the juice or something like that. Crazy.
Yeah, that's a great episode. The only good episode of Billions.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, so what'd you think about the short report?
Well, it was on one hand, it was kind of shocking. On the other hand, it wasn't that shocking. There were parts of the report that were just like mind blowing to me, like how his brother, Travis Milton, who lived in like Hawaii and worked the construction job or something, how he was the chief of the infrastructure of the entire hydrogen chain or something like that. Some complicated stuff that Trevor, I think it's Trevor, yeah, Trevor Milton put his brother in charge of some huge infrastructure plan. Well, he didn't really have any research experience from that field.
Yeah.
And, you know, but of course the most mind-blowing part is obviously the truck
Yeah.
that they used for
they found
like
that perfect hill. That perfect hill that
Exactly.
just was slanted at just the
It looks
best
so
way
good.
possible.
Right.
You know?
It just looked like the future when you see the video, and the fact that it actually just rolled down the hill is, I know, I mean, it's like, it's too comical to be true, but it's true, apparently.
Yeah.
I think NIKOLA admitted to it. And it's like, just imagine if that happened to like Volkswagen or even Tesla. That's how far out this case is. And it's not really down that much. It's up since the GM report, since the GM news, I think. Or
yeah, wasn't it
like,
crazy? Did you think it was crazy? So he came back and said that he was going to answer every single one of these questions like directly. And he's like, give me the rest of the day or maybe the rest of the morning to do it. And then he didn't tweet anything, I think, until like the next morning, basically saying he just deleted his tweets saying that he was going to do that. And basically that, you know, their lawyers are involved and, you know, they're going to handle it like that and not over Twitter and stuff like that.
yeah, I remember that first tweet where he said like, okay, we're working on this. The short sellers are trying to make us mad. It's not going to work. Give us 14 hours. We have a great question. We have a great answer to every single question that Heinberg asked.
Yeah.
And I was like, I sent this to some group chats. I was like, that's impressive. He's going to answer everything in 14 hours. He's going to need to stay up all night for that. But then, you know, it never showed up.
Yeah.
He spent like several days before he answered it. And I think one of the questions was about, there's one outrageous answer, I think. But what was that again? Someone asked him about, Heidenberg asked him about something about how NIKOLA would make their cars work. And I think his answer was that, well, we're going to partner up with other car manufacturers and they will manufacture it for us. And we're just going to have the brand. And then everybody else is going to make the actual car.
It's like a Trump licensing deal.
Yeah, so NIKOLA is just like, what, worthless?
Yeah.
It's not a car manufacturer or what? And,
yeah, it's weird.
But did you hear that he had like a Zoom meeting or like a Zoom Q&A?
Yeah, he was he actually talked about it like on his Instagram, and he didn't talk about it on Twitter, but he was talking about it like he recorded himself like an Instagram story or whatever and was talking about it and pulled the whole Theranos. When you're trying to change the world, of course they don't want you, you know, to do it or whatever and come at you and stuff like that. So I just thought it was crazy. You know, he supposedly, I don't know how true this is, but I did read a tweet or whatever that he was at a conference and then he like opened up his phone live.
That's what I was about to say.
And basically said, we're being investigated by the SEC or something like that. We're under investigation by the SEC. And then he's like, I wasn't supposed to tell you guys that either.
I know. Yeah, I think the thing was that some journalist or some analyst asked him a question and said like, so you're under investigation from the SEC is what I'm reading right here. And he said, and then he muted himself and he said, and talked to his lawyers. I'm presuming they said, don't say anything about that. And he said, I can't comment. Yeah. And then he said, like, hold on, I got a text message. He texted his text message and he said, we're under investigation by the SEC. Yeah. And then, I wasn't supposed to say that.
Isn't that crazy? What do you think Elon thinks about all of this? He hasn't said a word, obviously, which is pretty smart of him, I think.
Very smart.
But if you're Elon Musk, you got to be loving this. This is just like the greatest thing, you know?
I know. It's like if you're robbing a bank. Well, no, it's not like, it's like if you're robbing someone in a park and the police is about to run to you. And then someone robs the bank across the street. Of course, they run to the bank instead of talking about you. I'm not saying Tesla's an outright fraud, but he's done some questionable things, and there's some questionable things about Tesla. And NIKOLA is like Tesla on drugs in every single way. Like when it comes to accounting, when it comes to valuation, when it comes to the persona of the CEO. Yeah. It's just Tesla times 10, and nobody's gonna bother writing hit pieces on Tesla while there's a different car manufacturer that's trying to do basically the exact same thing, but with like an even crazier idea. So it's a gift to Elon Musk. And I think I wonder if there's like a correlation between the stock price of Tesla and NIKOLA. I'm not sure if there is. Maybe there could be.
It's like an opposite
Like,
correlation. I think when this all happened,
yeah.
Tesla stock was like massively up, you know.
Mm.
It's crazy. It's absolutely, it's fun to follow, you know. And
Yeah.
Trevor Millen, he's actually starting to become one of my favorite individuals to follow on Twitter because of self-sabotage. I just want to like take the shovel away from him and be like, dude, you are digging yourself in a hole. Just stop, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, could you imagine most CEOs of like legitimate companies, they would never comment. Imagine Warren Buffett, if someone drew up a massive short report and they sent it to him and went public with it. He would just be like, okay, good luck. You know, he would never
Right.
do everything. But of course, that's like apples to elephants, but still, it's just crazy. Speaking of Berkshire, what do you think about Snowflake? You gonna invest in the IPO?
You know, we discussed this like last week too, and I think I also tweeted out that I said that, okay, this looks awesome. This looks like a great cloud company.
Yeah.
And I think the first S1 said that it was going to IPO at $70 per share. And I think I wrote that, okay, so that's expensive. That's like 40 times sales, but it's growing at like 100% a year. So in a couple of years, it's only like 5 times sales or 10 times sales. And, and I also thought that, you know, once this thing IPOs, it's going to go like crazy because everybody's looking for the new big software as a service company or the next big tech company.
Yeah.
And a $20 billion valuation is not really that high compared to like Oracle Corporation or SAP and their peers that allegedly Snowflake is better than. But now it's up like $130 since the initial IPO. Or since the initial IPO price, which was at 70, now it's like 200 or something like that. And it's just been going further and further up, you know, today. I mean, I think I read a news article either yesterday or earlier today that said that Snowflake will go public at $120 per share. And I read that article and I was like, that's insane. They're just using Berkshire as a cornerstone investor to increase the price to get like more demand from investors. And now throughout the day, it's just increased to $200 per share. And that's like, you know, that's like just buying two different kind of companies.
Yeah.
When it more than doubled in value over less than a week. That just shows how ridiculous this whole thing is.
And I agree. And I believe if I'm correct, Berkshire is investing in like a floating IPO price. So they're not like just like locked into what the price was when they first came out with the S1. So it's almost like Snowflake was able to, you know, use this positive press, if you will, of Berkshire and Salesforce. And now Berkshire is going to have to, you know, pay up more money or whatever they're going to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my understanding of it. So Snowflake published first the S1 that said, you know, basically stuff about the company. Then they released an amended S1 that said that, okay, Berkshire is about to buy, and was it Software Venture or something like that? No, I mean,
Salesforce.
Salesforce Venture. So they were cornerstone investors, and, you know, they could brag about that and turn into mayhem on Twitter and in the news. And then everybody were like, okay, this must be a really great software as a service company if even Berkshire is buying it at like 40 times sales.
Yeah.
And I guess that everybody just jumped on the ship. And I know a couple of people in the industry in the United States, and they were just all over this stock. Everybody I know, they wanted shares in this IPO. And I'm guessing that must have been partially because of Berkshire and because they were able to leverage the Berkshire name to attract investors.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm guessing they'll have to pull out because if something was, let's say it was reasonably priced at $70 per share, you know, you can't really justify investing in the same company at $200 per share just a week later.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a good investment, if it's a good long-term investment at $200 per share, I mean, then it was the easiest no-brainer in the world at $70 per share. That was only a week deal. So I don't know. It's a crazy world. I mean, it will probably be at like 1,000 by this rate.
Yeah, by the time
end of the year.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
What are your thoughts on?
No, I agree. I thought it was crazy. A lot of people were saying that Buffett's going to like be upset about that. I mean, I don't think any of the Ted or Todd ever pre-approve anything through Buffett. I don't think Buffett I don't think he's involved in the process at all, right? Because he has said that he didn't want people telling him what to do when he was younger. So I don't think he would tell them what to do, even though they're obviously much older. But I thought it was crazy that it almost seemed like they used, because again, when we went over the S1 yesterday, right, it's like the second page in the S1. They really pushed that Salesforce and Berkshire is investing in the company, and that's a massive endorsement. And you and I talked about that. And then, now we're hearing that the IPO price just, the valuation just keeps going up, and that Berkshire has to invest on like a floating IPO rate. So they're going to have to either pony up more money or do whatever they're going to do. I just thought it was kind of, unfortunate, if you will, because again, I felt like they were just sort of pumping Berkshire's endorsement and stuff like that. Of course, everyone jumped all over that, and that's incredibly appealing to everybody. So I thought that was interesting. When does the stock actually go public? Do you know?
I think it's today, actually.
I was gonna say, isn't it today? Okay. So
I think the IPO is today, and I'm guessing it's starting to trade tomorrow.
Oh, well, so they have some shares, so it is, unless my thing is messed up. Let's see if you could.
Oh, really?
I don't know if let's see if
I can't see anything.
Focus this. Hold on. This Snowflake, right? Yeah, Snowflake. It's moving.
Wait, 274?
Yeah, it's moving. That's what it is. $271, and there's tons of volume.
What the?
I don't know why it's like showing a reverse right now. Yeah.
So this went public at $240, and now it's up $30 since that.
Yeah, market cap 76.54 billion.
Wait, how much was that? 76 billion?
Now it's 77 billion is what it is.
77 billion?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's moving like crazy. That's funny.
Oh my god. Well, they're not really doing too much.
It looks like at a high today of $319 a share. Assuming this is all like correct. I mean, this is thinkorswim.
No, yeah, I'm looking at it.
Oh, it's
the
correct.
similar thing, and it says, Google Finance says 275. So
I don't know why it's reversed on my camera, but yeah.
In my high says 320 is the high.
Yeah.
320 is the high. What is going on?
Yeah.
What is going on? Jesus, that's just so, like.
It says Snowflake stock pairs gains up 135% after being up as much as 166% at intraday high of $319 per share.
So what's the market cap?
This says 77 billion. That's crazy. At one point, Snowflake shares were halted. They hit a circuit breaker. It's just going parabolic all over the place.
Exactly.
Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
So,
you going to buy some shares?
Wait, so it's trading at 80 times sales?
I guess so. Yeah, because they have how much in sales? What's their TTM on that?
Looks like 96 million.
Crazy. But that growth, though, that forward growth.
Wait.
Finance is all about the future, not the past.
But still, though. How much are like Amazon Web Services doing in sales? Do you know that?
I don't know. Billions. Billions, billions, and billions.
Yeah, but I'm just like, let's say they become like the biggest cloud company in the world.
Yeah, I mean, they're the right competitor.
Okay. So they're, all right. So what was their, the market cap again?
77 billion. What are you looking at? Take us through it.
All right. Yeah. I'm looking at like what the Amazon Web Services is doing in sales. So that's, okay. So that's 40 billion a year. So if we assume that they like take over let's say they, just take over everything that Amazon Web Services is doing today.
Yeah.
Just take all of their sales, which I think is the wrong comp. But anyways, let's just assume that even if they would do that, they would be trading at 2 times sales, which is, that's cheap for a software as a service company, but it's not like mind-blowingly cheap. And this is like an outrageous, forecast.
Yeah, crazy. I can't see like over 10 million shares have traded today. Almost 11 million. Crazy. You gonna buy shares?
I actually had a friend that, a friend that works at a hedge fund, he said he was going to buy it no matter what. And I asked him, I think I used the example like, okay, this was yesterday. And I said, okay, so let's say the stock is at like 160 next week.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to buy it at 160? And he was like, yeah, probably. Just had a FOMO.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Crazy. TikTok, have you been following that whole situation? Sounds like Oracle's going to be involved with the company.
I've been following it through like push notifications.
Microsoft isn't in it. Walmart's not. I mean, we're past the deadline of when Trump was going to ban it. What, didn't he say September 14th, I thought?
Yeah, something like that. But I'm guessing that, so what's going on there? Please update me. Are you in like the final...
Oracle wants to do, TikTok doesn't want to sell their algorithms, it sounds like, or sell. They just want to have like some sort of partnership with Oracle, and Oracle will handle like the security of it in the United States and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Oracle's known for like, security and all that sort of stuff. And it'd be a good way for them to get in that market. Sounds like they'd be a good partner, but we'll see if that actually happens.
Yeah. You think that Oracle would be I don't know. Oracle really, is that like
well, I mean, if they want security, if that's what they want, right? I mean, they'd probably be better than Walmart.
TikTok?
Huh?
Oh yeah, better than Walmart. I think the whole situation has been like kind of ridiculous. Like, what's Walmart doing here? Like,
they're trying to make a push. Apparently, they want to be hip. They want to be involved in the next generation. Sam Walton is rolling over in his grave.
I mean, Oracle is like the boomer version of software companies. So maybe they want.
Yeah.
They probably want some market share for the young generation, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, crazy. Last thing I wanted to talk about today. So in our last episode, we and I think we should start doing this every single episode, just kind of like things that we do and stuff. What is something that you try to do every single day to become a better investor? And maybe, people listening could take something away from it, add to their own toolbox. What do you do?
Right. So one thing I do every day to research companies.
Sure.
Right. Well, basically, this is something that I kind of stole from Geoff, but not really. I kind of try to, every single day, I try to read something that tangibly helps me find either stock ideas or gets me further ahead in the process of researching a stock, basically. But I do kind of have a deep tilt on trying to find as many ideas as possible, and whether I do it through Twitter or through reading filings or whatever, that doesn't really matter today, but to me. But what I do try to do is that I try to read every single press release that comes out on the Oslo Stock Exchange. So
every single one,
and that I'm sure that sounds like insane to you, because just imagine reading every SEC filing that comes out every day. But like in Norway, we don't really have that many companies, so it's pretty manageable on my part. And it's not like I'm reading every single one, like every single word of every one. I look at the headline and I look, okay, what is this? What's this company? And I try to read through that that press release. And if it's something interesting, I might research that company further, or I just know more about the company or something like that. But I think that trying to read more or less every single significant press release that comes out makes me, more familiar to basic corporate cases in companies, and it also makes me more familiar to all the companies that are on my closest stock exchange, and it makes me better at knowing the different ideas and different stocks that are on the Oslo Stock Exchange. So I think it's a helpful exercise in many different ways, and it's easy to do, and it's easy to do, and it makes me smarter in a way.
I really like that. I think people will really do that. I mean, I use Docoh, DOCOH. I'll put the link in the description, and I have a bunch of companies on there, and whenever they update a SEC filing, I get an email. So then I like follow, up with it like that as well. So I guess it's kind of similar, and I mean, how many do you think you look at every single day?
I think I'll probably read maybe 20 of them. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to do.
So
It's good to do.
yeah.
I mean, like, and I do it more along like a lot of like, like industries and stuff like that. So I may follow a bunch of restaurant companies or movie theater companies or, whatever. And just to see like what everyone is doing and how everyone's responding to, for example, the pandemic and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get a feel for, I guess, how the economy is, kind of doing, even if I don't even own those stocks, I mean, we're in microcap land. And I follow a lot of large companies just to see what they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
and get updates on them reopening their restaurants or movie theaters or amusement parks or, whatever the answer is. It's good to do that, and it's just, you should stay up to date,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. I'm actually looking back at some of the press releases that I kind of looked at or read through, and there was like a big oil and gas conference, so a lot of the companies were there. So a lot of them published a presentation from that conference. So I could like briefly look at that. But apart from that, we have very little news in Norway today. So I didn't really. Well, there's one acquisition. So
it's like you find out about the news before you read about it in the newspaper when you do it that way.
Basically, yeah. Basically, yeah. Well, yeah. Basically.
I like it. It's kind of like, actually a good source for that too is on Seeking Alpha. I haven't looked at it in years, but I used to every single day. I think it was just called like Wall Street Breakfast. And they would just give you like, a page or whatever of everything that's going on, just sort of big news and stuff like that.
I didn't get that actually. I get it. Well, I get push notifications of it and I don't always read it. It's often like, so trade with China is going well. Or like
something
very
like that.
basic. Yeah. But I'm not sure if you have any newsletters, but I do read a lot of newsletters too, which doesn't help me like at all with investing, but I find it very interesting though. So I read like maybe 5 Bloomberg newsletters every single day, and they're like from John Authors, Matt Levine, and then like the evening briefing, which is basically a summary of every single news article every single significant news article that came out during the day.
Yeah.
And 5 things to start your day from Bloomberg is also awesome, which basically tells you everything that happened overnight or what's going to happen during the day and just how futures are going.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of small tools like that that's going to help you keep updated. But at the end of the day, I think the thing that I really learned from is reading, not necessarily an entirely annual report, but just reading some press releases on significant companies. So it's going to help me become familiar to new companies, help me find ideas, or help me just learn more about specific corporate cases. Because what happens in the newspaper, you'll forget that right away, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, man. Well, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. That is the rundown. Make sure you subscribe. I got a new setup now with the camera. And really all it means is I found Canon, they released a new, driver where I could hook up my DSLR to my webcam and use it as my webcam, I should say. So that's pretty sweet. So I actually have some videos planned for YouTube. Very excited about that. Vetle, thank you so much for coming on. Be sure to follow him on Twitter. You can find his information in the About section, and we will see everybody in the next rundown.